Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video. Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to have a little chat with you guys because if you saw the Grammys, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you did, you know that the greatest songwriter of all time, the greatest female vocalist of all time, and my personal favorite artists ever, Taylor Swift, announced her new album on April 19th.
It's called the Tortured Poets Department. I'm gonna go and post the cover right now backstage.
The way she did it was truly iconic too, you know. She was like, hey, thank you for this award, but I have a new, better album coming. I am actually going to post the album cover right as I leave this stage, so stay tuned. And a lot of people stopped watching the Grammys to go on Instagram and, you know, check out the new Taylor Swift album cover. Jokes aside, I do enjoy some of Taylor's music. Albums like Evermore and Folklore are amongst my favorite, but I can also appreciate albums like Red and 1989. Overall, I think she has a natural talent for songwriting and for storytelling, and although most of the times I find her performance to be a little bit underwhelming, I think, you know, it's just fine most of the time. However, with Folklore and Evermore, I thought that, you know, we were seeing a new Taylor, someone that was way more mature and had a more interesting approach to creating narratives and, you know, songwriting overall. But with the release of Midnights, I think she went back to square one. We were seeing the same weird drama queen Taylor that was on a Reputation and Lover, a Taylor that I personally don't really enjoy because it's like on repeat saying the same things about karma and failed relationships and being in love with a boy that you know is not good for you, but you still want it, so you're gonna do it. I mean, it's like the narrative is so mediocre and so repetitive that it gets to a point where it's literally annoying. The narrative alone can make you quit listening to an album, and that's pretty much what happened in Midnight. You know, songs like Anti-Hero and Karma have narratives that I've heard Taylor talk about multiple times in songs like Shake It Off or Bad Blood. So after Midnight, I thought we were gonna see Taylor taking a break because I think that even herself can admit that that wasn't her most creative piece and it was actually a pretty mediocre album. I'll have a full review on my channel, by the way, so if you want to take a look at that one. I still think mostly the same about the album. And again, like I hate to repeat myself, but repetitiveness in music is not a good trait. Like if you want to talk about a specific narrative or concept in your album, go ahead and do it because that makes the album cohesive and interesting. However, when you've been talking about heartbreak and, you know, falling in love with somebody and karma for your entire discography, which is 10 albums, by the way, it's not short at all, one would hope that she was going to change narrative, try to go for something a little bit more interesting at some point, but that never really happened. So I gotta say, I was a little bit excited when she announced this album. I thought we were gonna get the COVID-19 Taylor, the one that wrote Evermore and Folklore. It just felt like that was going to be the case. But when I went on Instagram and I checked out the album cover, the name of the album, the Tortured Poets Department, and I read the poem that is so corny and so evidently forced to sound like, you know, deep and poetic. And bro, this fancy, elegant way of talking, I love it. I personally love when artists use this sort of language in their music. It makes it sound more theatrical. But listen to this. And so I enter into evidence, my tarnished coat of arms, my muses acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick 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 of love bombs, my veins of pitch black ink, all's fair in love and poetry. You don't really need to understand poetry. Like, you don't need to understand what the artist is trying to talk about. It's a form of expression. Sometimes you just don't know what the artist or the person that wrote the poem is going through, so obviously you're not going to understand the message behind it. However, it must sound good. It has to sound genuine, like it comes from honesty. And with this poem, I don't really feel like it. It sounds like I'm listening to one of these depressed goth girls in literature class in high school. Like this doesn't sound good, man. And I promise you, I am not a Taylor Swift hater. I know that a lot of people are on her case right now because of this whole football bullshit, but I don't like football. I want Taylor Swift to do good because I like music, and when she actually does, she releases some really enjoyable and interesting narratives that everyone can enjoy, and everyone can recognize that it's a good album, a good song, a good project, blah, blah, blah. But when I see this sort of thing, man, I see the same pattern she followed when she released albums like Lover, Reputation, Midnights, records that don't really represent, you know, the best points in her career. And man, I'm kind of tired of it. If this is another album of her singing about heartbreak and how karma is gonna get you, I don't really want to hear all that narrative all over again. It is exhausting and I want nothing to do with it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And this definitely is not a video hating on Taylor Swift. This is me expressing my concern when it comes to this new album and, you know, the vibe I'm getting from it. Obviously, no material for the album has been released. I have no ground to stand on when it comes to this concerns of mine. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Taylor is going to release yet another album talking about love, heartbreak, and karma and empowered females? Or do you think she's going to try and build a narrative? A lot of people believe this is going to be a concept album because of the title, and I certainly hope so. I think that concept albums are kind of like the blueprint for making an interesting narrative, for creating an interesting narrative. So I do believe that if Taylor commits with her songwriting and storytelling skills to tell a story that she creates, you know, an original story with different characters and situations, I think she can make a really interesting record. But I think we can all go back to previous releases from Taylor and look at the way she approached the promotion of those and kind of use her common sense to guess how this album is going to sound. I think it's an interesting practice, so go ahead and leave it down below in the comments. What is your opinion on the way she announced this record, on, you know, the album cover, the poem in the back? How do you think that this album is going to sound like? Do you think it's going to be closer to what she did with Folklore and Evermore, or do you think she's gonna, you know, keep that pop instrumentation she used on Midnights? I just hope that it's good, man. I know the title sounds good so far and the way she's promoting this album looks really nice. However, Taylor has this ability to introduce something as the most deep and, you know, insightful thing ever, and then it's the most basic and mediocre narrative piece in her whole discography. So let's just hope that this is a good album. That'll be it for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. Remember that this is only my personal opinion, so if you have your own, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments. It's pretty much the reason why I created this channel, is to talk with you guys about these sort of things. So if you disagree with me, even if you're angry with me for something I said, leave it down below and I'll make sure to reply as soon as I can. If you guys want me to talk about any other topics, any other music news, an album you want me to review, a song you want me to check out, or a discography you want me to rank, go ahead and leave it down below too, and I'll make sure to fulfill your request as soon as I can. Now, with that being said, once again, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that I can see you guys soon with a new video. But until then, bye.